Lynn Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
And good morning to you. We're all in our places. Tiny faces. What's the date? I'm looking for it. Okay, it's the 28th. So when's Halloween? On Thursday? My problem with Halloween is I don't want that candy in my house until the last possible moment. The problem is that when you go at the last possible moment, it's hard to find the good stuff. It's all been scarfed up. And I don't want to be one of those ladies that hands out stuff that kids don't want. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's still too early. I can't have that stuff in the house. I can't. Thursday, huh? I can't even do it on Wednesday. I have to do it Thursday afternoon. Oh. So, hello there. Beautiful day. A little chilly. Gorgeous day. How about them Steelers? I don't want to talk about any of it either. I really don't. Okay, so I'm not sure what I want to talk about today. I know the news itself is, there's not a story that we haven't touched. Well, there are some stories we haven't touched, so maybe that's where we'll go. We'll go to things we have not talked about before, such as, I didn't read this piece, but I saw a headline in the New York Times yesterday in the sort of feature section, in choosing to say I don't. And it's about gay couples who have been together for some time, who now live in states or close to states where they could marry, and they don't want to. And I didn't, as I said, I did not read it, but it occurs to me that this ability to marry now probably causes a lot of trouble in a lot of relationships. Wouldn't you think? Okay, so it was never even not even a possibility. We cannot marry. You're in a long-term gay relationship. We can't marry. It's okay. We know we love each other. We don't need that piece of paper. Yada, 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 yada. And then all of a sudden, the state says, you can marry. And imagine if one of the partners says, oh, gosh, we can marry. Oh, God, will you marry me? And the answer is no. Well, wouldn't that create, I wonder how many relationships have had like real trouble because the two parties in the relationship have differing views of the institution of marriage. I mean, just the fact that you can marry doesn't mean you have to marry. Some people, I would imagine some couples would make just the financial, economic aspect of it, the pros of getting married would be that which would send them off to the altar. But others, there's plenty of heterosexual couples who are committed to each other and have been for some time who don't marry because they say the same. I don't need a piece of paper. It's a absurd, archaic institution in many ways. We don't live our lives like that anymore. I don't need some legally binding document to either prove my love or keep me somehow reined in. I'm just wondering if the pressure now to marry. I know I have said quite innocently, and I'm not going to do it again after having had this thought. I've said quite innocently to some of my gay friends, well, so are you going to get married now? I mean, you guys are going to get married, right? I've said in my excitement at the possibility. And I get sometimes some very tepid responses. Well, I guess. There is, I would think that there is some unwanted pressure being felt by some. And I would also imagine that some are getting married that, given their druthers, they probably wouldn't, but that the pressure is so intense that they got to do it. So stay tuned for, just a slew of gay divorces coming down the pike, in the next year or something for relationships that really shouldn't have, didn't want to. So they can be, I guess now, as cavalier about marriage as heterosexuals have been. But, and I don't know where the article went with this question. I mean, I saw one couple was quoted as saying that politically they would never marry because they see the institution of marriage as somehow stigmatizing single people. I think that's a stretch. Or maybe it's not. The fact is that the institution of marriage, I don't know if that stigmatizes single people. I think the need for most people to be connected to another person, to couple up, as it were, I think that need is universal and very human. And so those who go against that need, who live happy lives by themselves, are suspect? I don't know. Being single is, it's not a high status position. And it is true, I think married couples are higher status. I don't know. Oh, and here's something I've noticed, and I just noticed it twice in the last minute. I think I'm starting to talk like a valley girl.
Oh my gosh, you're spending too much time with me.
Is it you?
It's probably me.
Oh dear God! I noticed it the other day. I was talking and I was saying things. It seems to me I've said this a few times. And so perhaps married couples don't want to. Isn't that a little valley girlish? I'm going up a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going up. I'm talking in like little clusters, and at the end of which there's this up thing happening. I think I'm hearing that. I don't think I'm making that up. I have a call. Hello, caller.
Hello. This is Robert calling.
Hi, Robert.
Hey, is it PC to say gay divorce, gay wedding, lesbian? Should it be same-sex divorce, same-sex? I'm not sure about that. And I'm not being a wise ass. I just don't know.
Okay. Well, are you suggesting that it's politically incorrect to say gay?
Well, I just don't know. Honestly,
I don't know either. But I thought gay was. What do you mean? I mean, you can't say gay. So I thought you were going to say, is it politically incorrect to say gay divorce? Why aren't we just saying divorce?
Well, I went to, forgive the phrase, a gay wedding in the state of New York last summer.
Okay.
And no one called it a gay wedding. They just called it
a wedding. Okay.
And so I'm not sure if
well,
we
that's
should be
where
saying same-sex divorce, same-sex marriage.
You're right. No.
Perhaps someone who, is in that situation can comment.
Okay, but no, I hear what you're saying, and I think you're right. But we're so new to this transition that I think in the transition, to say I went to a wedding is true, and but is not giving. It's.
See, I have the same thoughts that you have. I just don't know exactly what to say. I don't know if it offends people or.
Well, here's the thing. Do you think if you say, I'm going to a wedding this weekend, that the assumption is, on the part of whoever it is you're talking to, the assumption is 95% of the time is that you're going to a heterosexual wedding?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay, so if it's not true that you're going to a heterosexual wedding, you might feel the need to be understood so that they can picture you at the wedding or something and say, I'm going to, I don't know. It's an interesting question you bring up.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. And listen, you're at the city paper. You're in a very progressive mindset always. I turn to you for the answer, and now I don't know.
No, but I'm starting to talk like a valley girl. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. I don't know.
Are you going to go to the mall later?
Oh, hey,
and
yeah.
see your friends?
I'm going to go to the mall, and I'm going to see my friends.
Okay, babe.
Dear God, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. God. Oh, wait. It's, we've been through a lot of this stuff. What to call things when things change, when progress happens, when things move forward. And then there's this, uncomfortable period or uncertain period, and that's what the caller is definitely pointing out, that if you take the time to say it's a gay marriage, you're making too much of it, maybe. Well, what's wrong? Is there something wrong with the gay marriage? Why didn't you just say marriage? What, are gay people always supposed to be just sort of siphoned off in some way? Put in a little... I don't know. Here's what I think. I think in 10 years... we won't have this conversation. But I think in the interim, there's going to be a lot of... my God, I got people around here in this dang city. I love you, Pittsburgh, but you drive me crazy. In this dang town that call me a girl all the time. I'm not only not a girl, I'm so not a girl. I wasn't even a girl when I was a girl. I'm a woman. And in this city, that transition never happened. I've told the story of how I came to Pittsburgh in 1980. I came as a full-fledged woman from what was then the progressive state of Wisconsin. And I get here, and all of a sudden I'm a girl. Or a girly, with all the girly, as Myron said, with all of the attendant loss of status implied. And it is reflected in the power structure and in everything else, right? So, girl. Oh, I don't know. Maybe we're probably concerning ourselves a little too much with all of this, but these are interesting, these nomenclature transitions and... if you were going to a wedding of an interracial couple, you wouldn't say, I'm going to the wedding of an interracial couple. I'm going to an interracial wedding. You wouldn't say that. And yet there might have been a time when you would have. Hello, caller?
Hello, this is Clarence from Canonsburg.
Oh, and I know you don't have a race.
I don't have a what?
Race!
Oh, you're on race already? Yeah, I'm streaming, so I'm a little bit behind.
Okay, no, here's why I got there. I said, you wouldn't say, it's still on the same topic, you wouldn't say, would you, if you were going to the wedding of an interracial couple, you would not say, oh, I'm going to the wedding of an interracial couple, because that wouldn't be anything you would think to say. But 20 years ago you would, maybe.
No, here's well, I didn't think about that because I was streaming. But what I was going with if you feel, and I have no idea why, you need to let people know that you're going to a same-sex wedding. You just say, yeah, I'm going to a wedding this weekend. My friends Barbara and Debbie are getting married. Just say their names.
Yeah, but what if their names are?
Yeah, Tony and Pat.
Yeah, right, Chris and Tony.
Then you're in trouble because I have no idea why you would need to even tell them. You say I'm going to a wedding. Why would people need to picture you? Who cares about their assumptions? You're going to a wedding. You can't you can't go to the baseball game with them. Who cares?
Okay.
That's how I think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, and when you're talking about like marriage and divorce and things like that, it doesn't matter whether it's heterosexual or homosexual, unless you're quoting statistics, which you were doing.
I was.
You know what I mean? The homosexual divorces are going up because it's a relatively new thing. So you're quoting like statistics or whatever, numbers.
Right.
So I can see adding that, because you're talking about a specific group, as if you would say, mixed race marriages are going up or in a decline, things like that, because you're quoting a statistic. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay. Now,
and I didn't hear the Valley Girl thing until you pointed it out.
I swear to God, I think I'm doing it. You might wanna like let me know if it's true. I heard it the other day when I was talking to. I think I was talking to myself actually. Mm-hmm. And I think I noticed there's something going on. And I thought, oh,
but Oprah does it. Everybody does it nowadays. But I'm a mimic. Depending on who I'm with, I turn into them. And I think maybe spending time with, for goodness sake, what's your producer's name?
Jess!
Sorry.
I know, I'm
what's her
sorry.
Name? Huh?
She said she's sorry.
Okay. Yeah, you're spending time with her, so you're mimicking her mannerism or her voice, the way her voice works. And she's probably mimicking you at sometimes too.
That's true, because there's something
doing that?
Right, there's something you say, what you used to say when I left the studio, and I started hearing myself saying it to people, and it's nothing I ever said before. And I thought, what am I saying that for? It's so weird that you do.
It's what in evolutionary terms.
Yeah.
I've talked about mirror neurons before. It's what helped us evolve, into communities and tribes and all that kind of good stuff.
So Jess and I are just evolving. We're doing our part for humanity.
She's evolving. You're devolving. Now I'm making fun of her.
Now, wait a minute here. Since we got you on the subject of marriage, because I was saying a lot of gays are saying, okay, so fine, I can marry. I don't want to. It's stupid. This is like a confirmed bachelor.
Yeah, I don't even...
You would never consider marriage.
I never considered marriage.
Okay. Why? Because I'm saying that a lot of gays now they have the chance to marry. A lot of them are having to decide really how they feel about that institution. Why do you spurn that institution?
I don't think I spurn it, but you've known me for almost 25 years now, probably.
Easy.
I probably called you. I'm one of those people who just rejects everything that doesn't make sense to me. Just like you said earlier. You know how I rejected race. I reject stuff that doesn't logically make sense to me, and marriage is one of them. Why not just say, hey, I'll stay with you for the rest of my life, and the other person says, oh, yeah, I agree, and then you go on living together or staying together or being happy together for the rest of your life. And then, it's like, hey, I can't stand you anymore. I can't stand you either. Here's half for you, here's half for me, see you later. Why it doesn't make any sense to me, so I just reject it. It has nothing to do with, being like, I don't know.
Yeah,
wanting to conform or anything like that. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay, so you don't need the the stamp of approval from the state, because that is what a marriage does.
Society or from anybody else.
Yeah, but that's what a marriage does. A marriage, the fact that this law, that we're fighting so that gays can marry is a state by state fight, because it involves the government of the state in your private relationship.
Exactly, and I don't think they need to be there. It's what I can see it as like one of my younger sisters did it. She married her partner for tax purposes and financial reasons, and being able to they have a child together. Mm-hmm. So being able to visit in the hospital, all that kind of good stuff. That's why they did it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for all that nonsense, they would have never done it. They'd have just been happy together for the rest of their lives.
I hope so.
Believe me, it's one of the best relationships I've ever seen.
Really?
those two.
That's good.
You should friend her on Facebook.
I should friend her?
No, yeah, I'll have her friend you. Well, I'll just have her join your thing, my youngest sister. But just talking about Facebook, and I don't know, I'm sure Jessica has. Have you seen bitstrips, the hottest thing on Facebook?
Yeah. Cartoons. I can show you.
Jess now will take me by the hand, and no, I have not.
But I've been neglecting everything that I need to do.
Because of it?
Thank goodness it was offline this weekend.
Okay, so what is it exactly? It's a website?
You create an avatar of yourself, and they give you...
Oh.
It's basically a cartoon.
Uh-huh.
And then they give you some basic situations.
Right.
And I know on my computer, you can change the text, you can change the positions of the bodies and all that kind of stuff, and almost write your own cartoon strips. I was having a ball for 3 days.
I'm looking... Oh, this is too much. I'm looking at Jess's avatar, and it looks just like her. Will this show up on...
One of the cartoons, yeah. Because they all have little captions like that.
Maybe this will show up on camera. This is Jess. I'd recognize her anywhere. And her cat is lying on her face, which is typical. And Jess is lying on her couch, which is typical. And that... Wait.
There it is.
Can you see it?
Yeah, you can't read what it says, though.
Okay, so you get to... well, how do you make... So does your avatar look like you, Clarence?
You should be able... Jessica should be able to get to mine. Tell her I don't care if she does it.
I've seen him.
We're friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but... yeah, it looks really like me. There was a couple people couldn't do it, and they said, well, how'd you get yours to look so much like you? I said, there's a button that says Pro, and you can really, alter the looks. I changed the size of the eyes. I moved them further apart, made my forehead bigger, put on some glasses, made some lips bigger, And I said, ooh, that's me.
Is it you now, or you... the way you fondly remember yourself looking.
The thing I can't do, which I wanted to do, because I have more gray in my beard now.
Yeah.
That I couldn't add gray to my beard without making it look white.
So you can't have that.
But yeah,
okay.
I put some bags under my eyes, some lines in my forehead, the whole bit. It looks like me. And then you could take your friends who have avatars and put them in the cartoons. It's the most fun. I changed the text. To make it a little bit personal, and I created my character sort of like an ass, which I know people think that I'm an ass, so the attitude of my character is an ass.
Do you know, speaking of an ass, and I am just going to, this is a quick aside, on that QED show 4802 on Friday, I quoted Shakespeare as saying, or Dickens, as saying, the law is an ass. And you should have seen the nervous faces that were looking back at me. It was like, she said ass! She said ass! And I thought, I didn't say anything, but I thought, oh my God, these people are freaked that I'm said ass. And I was quoting a masterpiece, and then I said it one more time, but this time I said it the way I think it might have been written. I said the law is an arse.
Yeah.
But I think it's ass. So what is it about these, the fine sensibilities of people who watch public television that you say ass and their sphincters tighten?
That's funny. So public television is watched by tight asses.
Yeah, right, tight asses. Oh, and I see your avatar, and you look like somebody who it's perfect, but you look like somebody who belongs on Boondocks causing trouble.
It's almost, because some of the characters and some of the stuff I've written are like friends and my sisters and stuff like that.
It's like Boondock stuff.
It was fun. I was having a ball.
Oh, my God. Well, I can see. So, meanwhile, life is happening, and you're sitting there with this. See what this is doing to us?
Here's the thing, though. Because I'm a frustrated cartoonist.
Well, you are, and in fact,
think about it.
Your work.
And I'm like, this is an opportunity for me, to create cartoons without spending too much, and just have people see them. And I was getting some, I got a lot of likes and all that kind of good stuff.
I bet. Well. It's been, as usual, an interesting conversation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Same here.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye. Bye. No, that's not it. Bye? That's it. Okay. I can see where this show's going. Straight to a commercial. We'll be back.
And comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com or call Lynn at 412-316-3381. Lynn Cullen Live will return in a moment.
Hi, Lynn. Les Ludwig, your scandal-free independent candidate for mayor of Pittsburgh, the founder of a program that produces revenue opportunities for government, the best long-term news in town. No longer the usual wait for taxes to go up at budget time. Pittsburgh's home, and I've brought a new way to finance government to city council. That thinking is spreading like fire, with 7 cities from Philly to L.A. building finance programs based on it. An example, one community in California has signed a long-term $600,000 per year contract with a soft drink company. Right now, we have over $1 million that may be used to reduce taxes right here in Pittsburgh. Stay tuned as I work as your mayor, building new thinking for a better future. Vote Ludwig, the only scandal-free independent candidate.
Paid for by Les Ludwig for mayor of Pittsburgh.
It's here. Attention, everyone. Download the brand new CP Haps app and find out what's going on in Pittsburgh. Text events to 77948 to download now and to be registered to win tickets to the Pittsburgh versus Buffalo at Heinz Field. Or go to your app store to download. The CP Haps app, brought to you by Pittsburgh City Paper.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn at pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
Okay, so still, sort of staying on technological stuff. Another thing that passed my line of vision over the weekend. This from the Wall Street Journal, and this is asking the question of what all of these screens that we're immersed in for much of our waking hours now, what impact they're having on our sense of connection or disconnection from others. And this is where technology is that, classic to, yin yang, good, bad. Clearly it is a vehicle that can bring people together. And clearly it is a vehicle that can isolate us in our own little cartoons. But I had not heard this story before. Gesundheit. In September, I guess that's last, but it's just a month ago, on a crowded commuter train in San Francisco, a man shot and killed a 20-year-old student. Now, I don't recall this story, but then why should I care about a 20-year-old student getting killed in San Francisco with a gun when probably on that same date, 1, 2, or 3 other 20-somethings were killed right here in Pittsburgh with a gun. And that barely makes the news. So I didn't note this. But as so often happens when somebody is killed nowadays, there were cameras because it was in a subway car, and security cameras showed a very disquieting scene, actually, before the shooting occurred. It showed a man with a .45 caliber pistol, waving it around, pointing it. And here's the bizarre thing. No one on that train noticed. Why? The footage is clear. Here's a guy with a gun in a menacing fashion, and nobody noticed it because they're all face down, disconnected from their immediate environs, and the footage is clear. And then the guy shoots and kills this guy. As the district attorney said, you look at this footage and he said, here's a person making movements. They're not concealed at all. The gun is very clear. These people are in very close proximity with him, and nobody sees. They are just, this is the DA, they are just so engrossed, texting and reading and whatnot. They're completely oblivious. Okay, that's one of the stories. Another story, similar vein. Another recent attack. A blind man walking down the street in broad daylight in Philadelphia. This one got more attention, apparently, because security footage later revealed that many people on the sidewalk ignored the assault. Now, this is different. They saw it, a blind man being assaulted. You can see from security footage that they are aware of the assault. They are all, you can figure, armed with their handy-dandy cell phones. But astonishingly, nobody called 911. Now that's a more, actually, I don't know which story is more scary. The one on the train where nobody even notices, or the one in Philly where they notice and choose not to do anything. Philadelphia's chief of police said that such a lack of response was becoming more and more typical. And here's the chilling thing he said. He said, in a case where someone's being attacked, people are more apt to take out their cell phones, not to call 911, but, you know where I'm going here? But to record the attack. Chief of police, more and more common. People are more likely to use their cell phones to record assaults than to call the police. I suppose they record the assaults and they download them to YouTube, where there are. Isn't that, there's a whole thing on YouTube where you can watch people being assaulted, kicked around, left and right all over the place, all taken by people happily cataloging, chronicling humanity's inhumanity to humanity, and not interceding and not helping. So the question that arises for anyone who is willing to go there to contemplate these darker issues of what this technology has done to us. There is no doubt that our use of technology has fundamentally changed not just how we behave in public spaces, but also how we engage or disengage in public spaces. And also, because we can disengage so easily, enter our other worlds, our avatar worlds, if we want, or just anything that we are. There is some evidence, maybe it's just anecdotal at this point, but don't think it won't be studied, that we are losing our sense of duty to one another. A caller, go ahead.
Hey, Lynn, it's Mike from B.C.
Hi, Mike.
I'm not sure that it's a lack of humanity.
What is it?
Apparently, what happens in everyone's psyches when they see something bad happening is if there's a group of people around, everyone's thinking somebody else is calling 911.
That is
Somebody
true.
else is doing what they're supposed to do.
That is true.
And you have a much better choice of getting help if you're being attacked if there's just one other person watching it. It's groupthink.
That is true, and it's actually, that study is an old study. That's done, a 1968 study that showed that the larger the number of people present, the more the sense of responsibility gets diffused, and making it less likely that any one individual will act. So you're right, but that's, I guess, human nature as well. But
even more scary is that you'll do it even at your detriment. There was a study, I think it was a Harvard study, where they had subjects come in and pretend to be filling out job applications, and then they pumped smoke into the room, and not one person left that room because they were told to stay there. And they looked at the other applicants in the room who were sitting and not doing anything. So every person stayed seated while smoke was being pumped into the room because everyone else was staying there.
Well, isn't that... So in a group, we act like sheep.
Groupthink. And so whenever a fire alarm goes off in a building and people say, oh, no, it's an alarm, it's an alarm, I remember that study and I say, I'm going outside.
Huh.
Because even if there's, and I think one person in that Harvard study said, well, there's smoke, I'm leaving. And someone, not a participant, but a study person said, no, we're supposed to stay here. And that person sat back down. So even at your own detriment, you'll buy into groupthink.
Oh, God. I know we all hope that we are exceptions to that rule. And
we can be. We just have to have enough nerve to say to that blind guy you see being beat up, we can see you! And if everybody started screaming or
we're taking your picture, right. I'm taking your picture. I'm calling 911. Exactly.
Yeah. I remember my mother saying that when we saw somebody getting attacked. She said, we can see you! We can see you! And it made the attacker leave. So somebody has to start it. Somebody has to say, and not even going over there and standing between you and the blind guy, but throwing things or screaming or saying, can you see that? We're calling, yeah, whatever. So it's more groupthink than humanity is going down the toilet.
But do you think this technology has made it worse? I mean, the thing the Philly police chief told me, told all of us, that's the chilling one, that given the ability to rather anonymously type it, tap 911, you're not putting yourself in any danger, but rather than help somebody being attacked, that you catalog it, that you record it, that's something else.
From perspective, they think they are helping. They think someone else called 911. They say, I better get this on tape so we can get this guy to go to prison. Because our culture is so voyeur, it's not that they just want to post it on Facebook. I think they think they're helping by videotaping.
All right.
Like, what's his name, King in L.A.?
Rodney King, yeah.
Someone has videotaped it.
Right.
So it's true, humanity could be going down a toilet, or it could just be how people think, which is counterintuitive sometimes.
Oh, gosh. Thank you. Thank you.
But if you're ever being attacked, I'll
Will
scream.
you come to
And I'll
my
help you.
aid? Thank you very much. Thank
See
you. Bye. Oh. I don't know. This is an interesting take. NP writes, it's actually what you're talking about sounds like the Seinfeld finale. While waiting for the plane to be repaired, they witness an overweight man getting carjacked at gunpoint. And then at gunpoint. Instead of helping him, they crack jokes about his size while Kramer films it all on his camcorder and then proceeds, all of them, to walk away. The victim notices this and tells the reporting officer, who arrests them on a duty to rescue violation that requires bystanders to help out in such a situation. Because this is the first case implementing this law, the prosecutor wants to find out everything he can about Jerry, George, Elaine, and Kramer in order to win. Jerry and his friends do not have any choice but to call on Jackie Childs to represent them for the upcoming trial. I vaguely remember this, but I remember thinking, I had never watched a lot of Seinfeld, and I watched that, and I thought, these people are I remember thinking, these characters are reprehensible. Why would I want to watch a bunch of reprehensible, self-centered jerks? But, I mean, maybe I just don't get it, but you're right. It sounds like the Seinfeld. Oh. Well, I don't know. There was that case where the guy was pushed onto subway tracks in New York, and nobody helped him. Lots of people recorded it. And in fact, there was that famous front page picture of him looking as a train is about to squash him. So people had plenty of time to take this wondrous picture, but no time at all to help. And there was all this outrage at the photograph on the front page of the New York Post. And then everybody wanted the head of the photographer. Why didn't you do something? And the photographer said, hey, there were a lot of other people on the platform. They were a lot closer to this guy. They made no effort to rescue him, but they all quickly pulled out their cell phones to capture images of his dead body. I don't know. It's a brave new world. Or maybe not so new, as Mike suggested, the caller, because human nature, I mean, we might find ourselves in different environment with different toys and all this kind of stuff, but human nature remains pretty much the same. And I don't know, sometimes it's hard to excuse. It's just hard to excuse. We're always squawking about how there's no leadership in Washington or no leadership in Harrisburg. Well, sometimes we're asked, unexpectedly and on a street corner or on a bus or in a railway car to exhibit some leadership, and we don't. It must be a very difficult thing to do for most people. It must be. Okay, we're doing another break, and we'll be back. Change the subject.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
The traditional light bulb, a groundbreaking invention in 1879. It's time we switch to longer-lasting Energy Star light bulbs. They're more efficient than the old bulbs, like a text message is more efficient than a carrier pigeon. And they cut down on our energy costs. Because in our own groundbreaking age, we deserve a light bulb that saves us some cash. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Come to Little's for all of your back-to-school needs. Little's has everything for all ages to stay in style for this upcoming school season. Check out the large selection from Doc Marten, Steve Madden, UGG, Clark's, Lely Kelly, New Balance, and much, much more. Don't forget to come visit this season's colorful handbag selection as well. Little Shoes, Pittsburgh's largest family shoe store, 5850 Forbes Avenue in Squirrel Hill.
You're listening to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Once again, here's Lynn Cullen.
Once again, here she is. Okay, Trav writes, your topic, people recording rather than helping, happened here this weekend on the South Side. There was a group fighting. No one called the police. The business owner did, but several people were recording the fight with their cell phones. This sounds like an eyewitness account. Such an odd reaction. Again, I hate to repeat myself, but I know I do. I a few times have given commencement addresses, and one I gave, a gazillion years ago at a North Hills high school. I was blown away. It was the first time that I'd seen this, and this was long enough ago that this was before the cell phones so we were still in like the Seinfeld era with a camcorder. But I remember being up on the stage and looking out at this audience, huge audience, and I was astonished at the number of people who throughout the entire thing had these video cameras and were recording every last thing. They were just human tripods. They weren't moving, they weren't interacting, and I remember thinking, God, put those down. You're not even here. When you put that camera in between you and the event, you really are removing yourself. You think you're grabbing this thing and holding it. But you're not. You're depriving yourself. I remember thinking, my God, you're not here. And then I thought, do you ever look at all those videos? People who did that for everything, would you ever look at them? It's crazy. So this sense that we can somehow record something, hold on to something that is ephemeral, make the present constant, and yet not really be there. I'm not making myself very clear, but I mean, I think you know what I'm talking about anyway. I said I wouldn't talk about it anymore, but there you go. Okay, so here's two things, just things I thought, or we never spoke on this program about this thing that happened in Greece where a little blonde, blue-eyed child was found in the clutches of dark, swarthy-skinned gypsies. And all hell broke loose because how could these dark, swarthy gypsies have what the media there termed a blonde angel? And so they were jailed, and the child was removed, and everybody and these are Roma gypsies, and they said the mother gave us this child because she couldn't care for it. That turned out to be true. And the other mind-boggling thing that turned out to be true is that the mother who had given the child to them for safekeeping was herself Roma, and that was her biological child. And you see the craziness of skin color and race, what we term race. And this assumption that a blonde-haired, blue-eyed child cannot be with these dark people. Somebody pointed out if you had seen blonde, blue-eyed adults with a dark-skinned child, nobody would have said boo. But to have it reversed, to have a little blonde angel with these dark people. And all this story, which went just crazy in Europe. I mean, no sooner had that happened than the French freaked out and they grabbed some kid. Europe, it should be noted, has a real problem with this kind of thing. There's this upsurge in anti-gypsy behavior and rhetoric all over Europe. This is coupled with an upsurge in anti-Semitic. This is just classic. So the two groups that the Europeans really have like mythological fear of, where they tell their children to beware, are gypsies and Jews. Gypsies, little kids are told, they'll grab you, they'll take you. They like little blonde angels. And Jews, oh man, Jews are supposedly grabbing little blonde angels and sucking their blood or taking their blood and making matzah out of it. This was believed. This is why you could round up the gypsies and round up the Jews. And in fact, in the Czech Republic, just in the last weeks, there have been parades in which one of the things that the paraders have been screaming are gypsies to the gas chambers. Europe. Real upsurge in Greece. As you know, Greece has actually rounded up the leaders of the political party that is behind attacks on gypsies, blacks, immigrants, anyone with dark skin, Jews, all of it. They even have like a swastika-like symbol and all of this, and they got a lot of votes in the last election because when European governments fail, there's always this fertile ground for fascists and killers. So I was really I guess put this under the same heading as human nature. I think human nature can be such extraordinary disappointment. Certainly to me, I would hope to our Creator. we just keep doing the same stuff over and over and over again. And this need to have these groups that are sort of viscerally feared and or hated. They play the role of scapegoats, which I guess is a role that has been used throughout history to deflect attention from the real perpetrators. Always. Look over there! Look what those people are doing! While the people who are saying look over there are busy really doing the damage. To see how quickly it all just happens again is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. And I have one other thing that's race-related, but it's just it's an observation that was in the Los Angeles Times, and I don't know if it means anything really, but it's an observation, and the observation cannot be denied. They say that if you look at this World Series going on right now, and a heck of a series it's been, I must say, these are two extraordinarily well-matched teams. Anybody can win this, and these probably are the two best teams, and we should pat ourselves on the back of how close we came. The Los Angeles Times pointed out that with the St. Louis Cardinals and the Boston Red Sox, when they take the field, do you say that in baseball? Take the field?
Sure.
Yeah, I think so too. There is only one African American. And they said, and this is the year that, this movie 42 came out, dramatizing the story of Jackie Robinson and how he integrated baseball. And it's just so bizarre that to see the World Series being played and there's no more than one African-American player. The one African-American player, by the way, is Red Sox Quentin Berry, and he says it is sad to see. But the fact is the percentage of African-Americans in the major leagues has declined substantially. They make up only 8% of players. Hello, caller.
It's PJ from Greensburg.
Hi, PJ.
Hey, what the hell are you talking about? The fact that people are saying it's surprising there aren't more blacks in baseball, that's crazy racist.
It is.
Crazy racist.
Well, I mean, there are blacks. They're just not American blacks. You know what I mean? They might be Dominicans.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, but the thing is the people are saying, gee, look how odd it is that the baseball isn't filled with colored people. It's ridiculous. It's just crazy. That is, to me, insane that people would think it's odd or bring up the fact that the baseball field has people other than blacks playing baseball. The teams are both filled with black players. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane.
Okay.
Do you not see where I'm coming from on that?
I think I do.
It's like saying, hey, look at all the white guys on the basketball courts. Where do all the black guys go from the basketball court? Where do all the black guys go from the football field? Like sports are the domain of black men, which is exactly the issues that we're having with stereotyping when we stereotype people.
I think
that's crazy.
But I think this sense that okay, so yes, the basketball court is amazingly black rather than people do notice this stuff. And the football field is mostly black, is it not?
Sure it is, yeah.
Okay, so how come this?
Either all of a sudden, like what does that say? What is the fact that there's only one black player on the field during the World Series games? What does that mean?
I have no idea. It was an observation, I said.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy to me. I mean, and I understand. I understand completely that that's what people think, and that's what people see, and they go, "Wow, look at that." But that is just inherently, there's something inherently wrong with that.
Okay.
The status quo is not, assuming the status quo is the way it is, and that anything other than that is abnormal, and that the status quo is that there's always a bunch of black guys on athletic fields. That's crazy.
Well, I think it has more to do with, I don't know. I don't know what it has to do with. I mean, this article quotes Bud Selig. I guess baseball has been noting this for years and has gotten concerned, and so they've set up academies. The commissioner ordered the setting up of urban academies. That is absolutely crazy. That is tinkering with. They are assuming that we don't have enough black people in our sport, so we have to go groom black people to play our sport. Right.
It's just crazy.
Okay.
It's absolutely crazy. I mean, if anything, I would be less surprised if someone said there aren't as many Dominicans playing, not because of their race, but because where they come from, and that's what they focus on. They do have those. Baseball already has those camps there to get those guys to play that sport. And they're of all different shades. But it's because where they're from and they're Dominican. It's not because of we need more black people in baseball? How racist does that sound? That's what the commissioner's actually saying.
Okay. All right.
Sorry. That whole topic just threw me for a crazy
That's okay. That's good. We like the reaction. Okay, thank you, PJ. And more reaction on the little blonde angel. This from Ray. There is another side to the story. The porous EU borders have been taken advantage of by human traffickers of children. Ireland, in particular, would accept a simple note from the parents that would allow an unrelated minor to enter and exit the country. I do not doubt there is still anti-gypsy sentiment, but child trafficking is a very real problem. I'm not saying it's not, but here again, this is this racial thing. Oh, God, you get into race and, everybody gets crazed. But there's this assumption, first of all, that all gypsies are dark. They are not necessarily. There's blonde gypsies. Because they've intermarried, too. You can't... and the sense of gypsies as absconding with children. I don't know. Maybe it's true, but there's other people that abscond with children, too, I suppose. I don't know. These are like blood libels. The gypsies are on the receiving end of blood libel. Jews are on the receiving end of blood libel. And that's why I tend to jump to their side on any story. Any story. All right, so I don't know. So Susan will be joining us tomorrow. She'll either be jubilant because she will have... Wait, is it tied up now? It's 2-2, right? You don't even know. It's 2-2. So she's been a nervous wreck and whatever. So she'll be on. We'll promise not to talk much baseball. And but we'll find other things. Wednesday, my guest will be Professor Jared Day, historian, CMU, but mostly the guy who puts together that fantastic daily news nuggets, this amalgamation of stories and reportage from all over the place. And I get so much information from it, and you can too. And I just want to pick his brain because I think I read a lot. This guy must read. And because he's a historian, he has that historical context to take in all the things that are happening now. So we'll pick Jared Day's brain on Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to that. Thursday, of course, Sokolowski. Friday, Chris Potter. And then, yay, the weekend again! But let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's Monday. Have a good one.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.